I've been testing out 5 very affordable Middle Eastern fragrances from Aroma Concepts, and 4 out of 5 of them are absolute loves for me. The other one, maybe not for me, but I'm really excited to tell you guys all about them. Hello, my gorgeous ones. Welcome to Aleisha Budget Beauty. My name is Aleisha. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, affordable Middle Eastern fragrance reviews, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. Okay, you guys, these landed on my doorstep from Aroma Concepts. So just right out the bag, I'm gonna let you know these were sent to me. I always give my honest opinions, and I was really excited because I really didn't know these were coming. It was a nice surprise. So I've been testing them out, and 4 of them I'm like, yes. And then 1, it's not for me. I will tell you guys why, but let me go ahead and just hop right into them. Let's start with this beauty right here. So this is by Paris Corner. In general, I tend to really like Paris Corner. Every once in a while, even ones I purchase myself, it won't quite be for me, but this is a success for me. So this is Ophidian Black Cherry. Let's just take a moment for this stunning packaging. In my opinion, this is stunning packaging. I have seen some people do not like snakes on a bottle. I love them. I think they're really cool. I don't have a problem with snakes. You know, I know for some it's superstitious reasons, some are just creeped out by them, some it's a religious thing. I don't mind when it comes to stuff like this. I think it's really gorgeous, so I love this bottle. It's also very, very heavy. I love the ombre effect here. So this one is, like I said, Black Cherry. Ophidian Black Cherry. Oh, and by the way, I saw some people are like, why does there have to be a snake? Well, I guess Ophidian has something to do with like reptile. So that is why. All right. So this fragrance, as soon as I sprayed it, I was like, of course it is. Of course it is. Because here lately, everything is a Tom Ford Black Cherry dupe or inspired by. I've gotten several in recently that I'm like, well, yep, there's another one. Here we go again. However, I will say, you guys, I'm going to do a cherry fragrance video coming up. I actually have that planned to do. And I was going to talk about all the ones that smell exactly the same and everything. I will say this does not smell like every single other dupe out there. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. When it comes to this sort of scent profile, which is a juicy black cherry. It's very deep, and this has raspberry in it too. So I don't know if that's like a little bit difference. It's making this stand out somewhat. This has Palo Santo, it has tonka bean. And you guys, this is beautiful. All of the other ones that I have that are clearly inspired by Lost Cherry don't have this kind of depth. They all kind of have that sort of Luden's cherry, almost like an airiness to it as well. And I didn't realize that they had this airiness until I smelled this, and I'm like, this has more weight. This has more gravitas. This is more complex. The woodiness in this, the little bit of darkness in this is so beautiful. I also think this one is perfectly unisex. Some of my other inspired by Lost Cherry ones, yes, they're unisex, but like I don't really see a man enjoying it that much. This one I do. I really do. But I mean, I could definitely wear this one as well. This is sexy. This is done so well, you guys. I mean, also the black cherry in here really has a deep sort of almost sour black cherry. And please don't take sour and associate it with something negative, because I think a lot of people, they hear like something that smells sour isn't going to smell good. This is like, say, you know, you have an amaretto sour, some sort of liqueur with a sour in it. It still tastes really good, right? It doesn't make it taste bad. Just like the sour cherry in this just gives it a little something different. Honestly, at first I was mad, not mad, but I was just like, oh, another stinking Lost Cherry. I am so grateful that they sent this one over, because it's now in the tops of my cherries. I think it's absolutely outstanding. All right, this next one is another flanker, the Ophidian flankers, and this is Sweet Surrender, also by Paris Corner. And okay, when I smell this, there's another one I'll show you here in a minute that I'll talk about. But at first I thought they smelled the same. I was like, is this not the same fragrance? Then after I wore them side by side, I realized they are definitely not the same. And I kept thinking, this smells familiar. What does this smell like? And then finally realized that this, I believe, is inspired by Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish by Billie Eilish. So the one that is the citrusy, cacao, vanilla, and I do have a travel of that one. I love it. And I've always gotten sort of like a Christmas cookie sort of vibe off of that fragrance. I will say these are pretty close. I think there's something slightly different about this one. So this is red berries. It has mandarin. It has vanilla. It has cacao. And it has tonka. It also has some woody notes to it. So smelling them side by side, very, very similar vibes. But I think you get a little more berry off the top of this instead of like a chocolatey citrus and mandarin that you would get in the Billie Eilish. I actually love this a lot. I think it's so good. And I know a lot of people compare Nebras to the Billie Eilish. In Nebras by Lattafa, I get more of a Cocoa Puff, vanilla Cocoa Puff. Like, I don't get a lot of complexity in Nebras. I really like it. I think it's very simple, not very complex. I like to layer that fragrance. I think there's more going on in this. I think this is a little bit closer to the Billie Eilish than the Nebras is even, because I don't really get the citrusy in the Nebras, but I do get it in this along with that red berry. Again, this is another really, really worthy one. I think this one is also perfect for fall, but I think this is more of like a holiday fragrance. Like, I just think of like Christmas cookies and things like that whenever I smell this, but I don't think it's too sweet. There is this sort of like fluffiness to this that doesn't make it too dense. It's not like a sickly sweet gourmand. I think it is very, very beautiful. And again, I happen to really love this bottle. Okay, so the fragrance I was referring to that at first I thought smelled like the last one, but it really doesn't when I do it side by side. This is Soiree by Maison Asrar. And funny enough, I actually ordered this one and the new Khar fragrance, but then this showed up. So I guess I'm gonna have a backup, which I'm actually pretty excited about because this is beautiful. So like I said, at first I sprayed this and initially I thought this smelled sort of like Devotion, Dolce & Gabbana Devotion. And then I was like, well, no, it has more of like a key lime pie sort of thing going on. But then as I was wearing it, I realized instead of smelling lime, I was smelling more like plummy notes in here. There's also caramel and I believe several different vanillas. I think there's like 4 different vanillas in here. There's praline. And what I think that this is trying to be inspired by is Escapade Gourmands. That fragrance, I think that is what this is inspired by. That is a fragrance that is $225. I've never gotten my nose on that one, so I can't really tell you guys if it's that accurate. All I know is that this is really beautiful. And even smelling this right now and putting on the Sweet Surrender a minute ago, there is sort of like a similarity between the two. But whereas the last one I talked about goes a little bit more holiday, it has that cacao in it. This one has a little bit more of like a floral element to it with the vanillas and the caramel and the praline. So it smells slightly more perfumey to me, whereas the last one was a little bit more gourmand, although still very, very wearable. But I think this one's less gourmand than the other. And this one has a really elegant and feminine mid sort of floral element to it, along with those sort of sweet notes. So it smells very luxurious. It smells very, very expensive. Again, it is modeled after a much more expensive fragrance. So I think this one is definitely worthy of having a backup. I mean, I don't have to be too careful. I'm just gonna spray away. Beautiful. And honestly, I think this one is like a year round to me. I could see getting away with it in the hot weather. It's not too cloying, it's not too heavy, but it does have those sort of cozy things like the caramel and the praline going on with it that I think it would also suit fall and winter as well. So this is maybe a new favorite in the vanilla category for me, and that is Soirée by Maison Asrar. Okay, now this one is Juicy Melange by Emir, Paris Corner Emir. So I saw this being released a while back and I considered it, and then I kind of forgot. And especially since I thought it would be really, really fruity, I was like, well, we're getting into fall. I don't know that that's something I really need right now. This one is kind of a strange sucker that I do really like, that I'm still sort of gathering my thoughts on, but it's definitely not a dislike. But I'm gonna read you guys the notes because there's a lot of fruits going on here. We have a strawberry, blackcurrant, peach, basil, plum, coconut, apple, nutmeg. And then in the mid, we have iris, orchid, jasmine, lily of the valley, rose. And then in the base is moss, vanilla, cedarwood, sandalwood, ambergris, musk, and tonka bean. So this has a very tart opening. I mean, with all of those fruity notes, you would think it would. It also has this sort of green element to it. And I don't really mean earthy green. I mean sort of like a green apple, like a really, really tart green apple vibe. And then a tart plum. So I grew up with a plum tree in my backyard, and if they weren't quite ripe enough, and I would eat them anyway, and it would have this really tart, almost bitter, but still kind of delicious taste to it. But then if it was really, really ripened, then you had that like juicy, deep, sort of plummy flavor to it. This is not the juicy, deep plum. This is like an unripened plum, like everything smells like an unripened fruit instead of a really, really densely ripened fruit. So, and there is a lot of muskiness going on. The floral, it's there, but I think above anything, I get a green fruit musk out of this. So I do like it. I'm still thinking about it. Do I think this one smells particularly expensive? No, I think the last three smell much higher end than this one, but I do still think this one is really fun. And it kind of is almost fall appropriate, especially if I layered it with something else. I think if I put something like more vanilla based in here, maybe that would bring out the vanilla that is in this. But I think because it has that sort of like unripened fruit and not densely ripened fruit, I don't know, I think that it does kind of work, at least for a transition fragrance right now. So again, I'm not sure this is a love right now. It's a like. Still thinking about this one, but I do think it's worthy to check out if how I described it sounds good to you. But I do have my fail for me, personally, for me. And I can see the appeal of this for some other people. So this is Iisco Nirvana by Paris Corner. I just thought the packaging is really pretty as well that this comes in. So packaging, awesome. The actual bottle is really pretty too. Funny enough, also, I was looking this up about 2 weeks ago, thinking I might purchase this myself because I love hibiscus. Hibiscus Palm by Aaron is one of a fave of mine. So I was thinking about purchasing it, showed up, I was really excited. You guys, I can't with this one. I love the hibiscus in here. Okay, let's start with something positive. I'm not spraying it on myself because I really don't like it. But the hibiscus, if it went a different direction, I think the damask rose in this, is too much. And I do have a few fragrances that I'm surprised when I see the rose is like damask rose, and I like it because a lot of times Bulgarian and damask rose can take it a little too mature for me. And I love like a juicy rose, a young rose, rose petal, dewdrops on a rose, even rose water sort of scent. But when it's sometimes damask rose and Bulgarian rose, it can go a little too mature for me. And unfortunately, that is what this does. And I can tell there's potential there. The hibiscus is so pretty in here. I think if you minus the rose, I would have really, really enjoyed this. Let me go ahead and read these notes because there is more going on in this. Bear with me. This is mint leaves, black currant, hibiscus, geranium, damask rose, cinnamon, vanilla, leathery accord, amber, and musk. Now, geranium's another one that's a little tricky. I wouldn't say I love geranium in a fragrance, but sometimes I don't mind it. Sometimes it can kind of ruin it for me. I like mint, I like black currant, cinnamon, I like all the other notes. It's just something about the way it's blended. It just isn't gonna do it for me. And actually what this reminds me of, and this might actually influence you to buy it if you really, really like this other fragrance. If you like Rua by Paris Corner, also at Aroma Concepts. It is in a white bottle. It's got this like little rose design. I could not do that one either. I tried to keep it around. I talked about it in another video, and that one seemed real split. People either think it's just beautiful and they love it, or they felt the same way as me, that it is just too mature. It has a very vintage quality to it that I do appreciate sometimes. Like there is mature that I'm like, everyone stay away. And then there's mature, but I can understand people who have this nostalgia, who like a vintage perfume, you know, sort of like 80s and even way back before that might really like it. If you are someone that does like those vintage type of like almost fragrance in like a makeup powder that has rose in it, if you like that, you might really, really love this actually, because I think this to me, this smells like Rua with hibiscus in it. And the hibiscus only makes this better. So it's not for me. I'm definitely gonna pass it along to someone that I know that might like it better than me. But I don't think it's a bad fragrance. And I do think that the bottle is really pretty. It's just not for me. But that is it, you guys. Those are 5 newer fragrances to my collection sent by Aroma Concepts. I thank them for sending this over to me. I do have a code with them. You can use it or not. It won't hurt my feelings. You do save money that way. Hooray. I have a couple more on the way, so I'll be doing another video soon. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping, and smelling fabulous. Bye.